So I'm going to share with you today 3 words that will allow you to double the revenue in your coaching business this year. A big claim, I know, but it's something I've done for myself. So this month I'm sitting already on just shy of £50,000 for the month. And the best thing about that is how little I'm working. I'm literally working around 4 hours a day, sometimes 4 days a week for that as well. Now I'm sharing this not to boast, but to add gravitas to what I'm about to say. Because at the same time, this month has been a record month for me with relative ease and working so little. At the same time as that, my business also feels totally out of control. Totally out of control. And that's the purpose of this video, because I speak to so many coaches who, if they aren't able to hold the tension of wanting control but taking action still, they get stuck and they fall prey for what I call fear in fancy dress, which allows them to feel a sense of control but their business doesn't move forward. And this often turns up in doing the easy stuff, things like playing with your website, your logo, your colors, your Instagram feed, all of those things. Organizing your files, your notes, your learnings, all of that stuff, it feels good, it feels like you're making progress, and it's satisfying this desire to have things under control. But as I say, my business this month did a record month, and it continues to grow and do record months, but it still feels wildly out of control. And I'm going to share today the 7 ways that I'm able to hold this tension, because I am human, much like you. My mind still desires control. It's addicted to control. I'm a recovering OCD person, for crying out loud. I am like you. I desire that control, but I'm able to hold the tension of desiring that control, but still taking action. And I'm going to share with you today the 7 ways that I've been able to do that. And the first is a rhythm that I've created in my business. So one of the biggest tensions to hold as an entrepreneur, as a solopreneur, is this tension of short-term versus long-term. And we're all in different seasons in life, in business, which is why we all need to develop our own rhythm. If you're in a season of, I need money now, well then the focus should be more on the short term. If you're in a season of, I've got some runway, I've got some cash in the bank, maybe you just exited a business, your season is more of a long-term bias. But what I see is coaches flip-flopping to the other. They have this intense burst of focusing on short term, get loads of clients, and then they're in this client overwhelm or client delivery overwhelm, and they take their eyes off the longer term and they stop creating clients and they get burnt out and tired, and then the revenue drops and they go back to urgency, I need money now. So I found a really nice balance that works so well for me, which allows me to hold this tension of short-term versus long-term. So for me, what that looks like is Monday and Friday is when I work and focus on my long-term projects. And I'll talk about how I decide what to focus on in that time. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is what I call my chop wood, carry water. It comes from a Japanese saying of before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. For me, it's the stuff that puts the bread on the table. It's the stuff that feeds my family. Coaching, creating, and connecting. It's really that simple. And that's all I do on the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I don't try and work on long-term projects in that time. And I have done in the past, but it creates so much tension in my body and my mind. So on those days, I just let go of any longer term thinking and really focus on delivery, creating, connecting. Now on the Monday and Friday, that's when I focus on my longer term projects. But here's been a massive unlock for me recently. I don't put any time pressure on what I do on that Monday and Friday. I used to have deadlines, but it created this unneeded tension in my body. So now I've actually moved way faster by focusing on one thing at a time on Monday and Friday, my one project that solves the biggest bottleneck in my business in this time, or something I feel really called to focus on, but I have no deadline to that. And it gives me real freedom and less tension in my body and less urgency. So I'm moving the business forward on the longer term, but Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm moving my business forward on the shorter term, i.e. creating clients now. And that allows me to hold this tension of, yes, of course, I want to improve my messaging. I want to improve my systems. I want to improve everything in my business. But I let most of that go and focus on the one thing that I can control in this moment. Short term versus long term. It's one of the biggest tensions to hold. The second way I'm able to hold this tension, this mayhem in my business and turn it regardless, is working with a coach. I will forever work with a coach. It has paid, every pound I've spent in working with a coach has paid back 10, 20, 50, 100-fold over the lifetime. I will continue working with a coach because what working with a coach does, it grounds me. It allows me to really decide what's important and let go of everything else. To decide literally means to cut off. And working with a coach allows me to do that. I have a commitment with my coaches. Before I make any commitment in any project, I have to talk it through with him. Any investment in a coach or training or mentoring, I have to talk it through with him. And he allows me to slow down, to breathe, and to really decide what's important, what's aligned with my values, what's aligned with my visions, and let go of everything else. So working with a coach, I'm just going to jump to my notes here. Yes, the third thing is masculinity practices. So recently I've started working with a thought leader in this space called John Wyland. And what I'm learning about the essence of the masculine energy is that it is one of stillness, it's one of consciousness, it's the non-attached witness. And if we don't develop this practice to be in stillness, to be the observer amongst mayhem, amongst massive discomfort, we will continually jump from trigger to trigger, to stimulus to stimulus, and we'll continue to be reactive in our life, in our business. So every morning I do these masculinity practices, which allows me in essence to be that non-attached witness, to be the observer without jumping to the stimulus, jumping to the thought, jumping to the discomfort. Because as I said at the start of this, I am much like you. I still have the desire, the addiction to control, but I'm developing an ability to hold stillness and non-reactivity in that, and able to essentially more intentionally, more consciously choose my response. There's that amazing quote by Viktor Frankl, which literally changed my life, which goes something like this. I'm going to paraphrase it and probably hammer it, but it goes something like this: between a stimulus and a response there is a gap, and in that gap lies our freedom to choose, and in that choice lies our growth and our freedom. And that's what this does. Masculinity practices where you sit in uncomfortable positions and hold and find that part of you that's the witness, that's pure consciousness without reacting, allows us to widen that gap. It allows us to essentially create more freedom and choice in our life. So masculinity practices have completely changed the game for me. One of my quotes that I say to myself often, two quotes actually. One is, I know I'm going to fail, but I'm still all in. I took it, I think, from Brené Brown. And the other is, do what you can with what you have in this moment. As I shared at the start, do I want to improve my content? Yes. Do I think my systems could be better? Yes. Do I think my funnels, my sales engine could be better? Yes. Everything in my business could be better. But I still turn up. I do what I can with what I have in this moment. I don't do anything more. I don't do anything less. I do my best. And I know this is cliche, but it's cliche for a reason. Take this YouTube, for example. Do I desire to have editors, to have a thumbnail designer? Yes. Does that stop me from turning up? No. I still turn up. I do what I can with what I have in this moment, i.e. I've got DJI Osmo Pocket 3. I'm out here on my morning walk and I'm recording, because what's more important to me is who I'm becoming in this process, not the outcome. I want the edited, beautiful videos. Of course I do. But right now, I don't have the time. I don't have the space to go into that. So I've just removed that friction and I'm doing what I can with what I have in this moment. Game changer. Total game changer. A really big growth, a lot of growth for me has come in this last year and a half. And as I say, this month has been a record month for me with relative ease. And I really put it down to my increased capacity to hold more. And I've done this through masculinity practices, through sitting in stillness. There's I think it's a Zen Buddhist saying of a mountain is unmoved by the barking of dogs. And this really talks to those masculinity practices of increasing my capacity. But also, amongst that is I'm very able to lose control and to really let go. And what's helped me is massively in this is dancing. So I dance very regularly. I go to ecstatic dances and I use it as a practice to let go, to lose control. And much like you, much like everyone, I of course have self-conscious thoughts of, am I doing this right? What do I look like? I have all of that. Much like in business, I have thoughts of, wait till your offer's more clean, and wait till your messaging's more dialed in, and wait till this. Much like you, I have those thoughts. But all those thoughts are anchors. They're tools for awareness. And in dancing, when those thoughts come up, I'm able to notice them and then lose control, let go of those thoughts and really lose control. And in losing control, I can again increase my capacity, my range in my body, and getting comfortable with being out of control whilst also coming back to stillness. So in these ecstatic dances, I often have these moments of really losing control and then getting off center and a little bit wobbly and then finding my center again. And it's that practice of losing control, finding my ground, losing control, finding my ground. Again, it's allowing me to hold this tension in business. Observe the part of me that wants the control and let go of it. One of the most amazing things that comes from walks like this, and through a deep level of trust in what I call the Tao, the way of things, this present moment, the interconnectedness of nature. I come out here every morning and I have these moments of just watching the waves, looking at the sky and looking at nature. And through time in nature, I've really developed this deep sense of trust and this deep sense of allowing. In the Tao Te Ching, it says, the nature doesn't hurry, but still gets everything done. And it's a quote that I really try and remind myself all the time, because much like nature, well, we are nature, right? What's the difference between a bee and us? I know it's a very stupid thing to say, right? But if you zoom out far enough, we're the same size. We are part of nature. It's our sense of self, our ego that thinks we are any different. But we are no different to nature. We are the Tao. We are the way of nature. And much like nature doesn't hurry, nor should we. Because there's a fear often with people, and it was for me, in that if I slow down, if I stop for one moment, then I'm going to become lazy and I'm going to become lethargic. And we forget that nature's natural way of being is one of growth, is one of abundance, it's one of expansion. But it doesn't force it, it doesn't try, there's no effort, there's no rushing. It just does, it just is. And it's the same with us. I'm working so little right now, but I'm moving my business fast, moving my business forward really fast. Why? Because there's no force. They all, in the East they have this saying, Wu Wei, which means effortless action, non-force. And I can really feel in my body when I'm forcing and when I'm allowing. And when I'm allowing, actually, paradoxically, things happen way faster than when I was once forcing it. So actually this deep level of trust in the Tao has really allowed me again to trust that the natural course of things, the natural way of things will happen. And we actually have very little control of anything. Well, we had no control of anything outside of us. What we have control in is how we respond, our thoughts. Now I'm gonna paradoxically challenge what I just said. At the same time, by controlling our inner state, we control everything on the outer side. But there's this paradox of we have no control and we are the creator. That's a video for another day for sure. Anyway, let's move on to the last few points. And the last thing I would say is, yes, all this inner work of expanding my capacity, being able to sit as the mountain whilst dogs are barking at me has really allowed me to hold this mayhem. At the same time as all of that, of course, have systems. So it's James Clear who said, we don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our systems. And it's something I wholeheartedly believe in. And that's why having this balance of short-term chop wood, carry water, long-term, still working on long-term projects really allows me to keep nudging my business forward pretty fast as well. But systems hold my business and my life together. And systems can be as simple as an order of which you do things, or could be as complex as AI automations. Like, for example, this video, there's certain systems that will happen after posting this video that are, I just need to focus on the thing that I do and let go of everything else. And one of the biggest unlocks for me has been working with a VA, where anything I do more than once, I record, I create an SOP, and I delegate. It means that I'm only focusing on the things that I enjoy, creating, coaching, speaking, running workshops, spending time in nature, spending time with my family. It allows me to focus on those things. For example, I have someone cook all of my meals because it's not something I massively enjoy, and it frees me to do the things that I love. Again, time with loved ones, nature, exercise, creating, coaching, mentoring, all of that good stuff. So the 3 words that I promised you at the start of this video that will allow you to double your business is embrace the mayhem. It's something I say to my clients over and over again, and I say to myself over and again. Even this morning, I was really sitting in this tension of, God, I want to improve this, I want to improve that, I want to improve that. I was really sitting with that intention. I could notice my body getting really frustrated and stuck, and I just breathed, I did a little bit of shaking, and I just reminded myself, embrace the mayhem. And I just trusted, let go. Trust in the natural course of things. Nature doesn't hurry, but it still gets everything done. It's the same with us, it's the same with you. I hope this has been useful, and if it has, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out and helps me impact more people like yourself. Sending so much love.